planning to get Smoke, Big Smoke, to do some things to Concierge, y'all. So it's gonna be going down. Let's see. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Okay. So of course we see Blue, and she's letting Madam know that Lola, aka Shamika, is here. Y'all remember she had that fake name called Shamika. So she's in there, and Madam is telling her, hey, I'm about to come up on some things. I'm about to be placed in a place of power, and you might want to rock with me. So I need something for you. There is something I need you to do. There is basically, she tells her about the t-shirt, that she's not gonna tell her the full details of what she needs, but she's letting her know, I need you, there's something I need you to do. It's at the police station. Basically, she wants her to go into the evidence cage and remove that t-shirt that why Doc still had, I have no idea, but she wants her to go into the cage and remove that item for her. So of course Shamika's like, okay, cool, I got you. And she's gonna get prepared to do the do for Madam. So then we see Amp as well as Dime, and they're having a conversation because Amp has brought Dime some flowers. Now, listen, I am so over this relationship with Dime and Amp, but since they're going to basically force feed this relationship on us, I'm just going to say they do decide after she was given flowers by Amp that they're going to have another date. They're basically going to have, it's going to be like a start over, a restart. Let's see where our friendship can actually go. And so we're going to see what happens with them for sure. But then we see Madam, and she's having a conversation with Babyface. And he comes in and tells her, hey Madam, I know that I'm just here to let you know that Miss Tandy told me to unalive DA Rods for her and not to tell you because basically she was supposed to do it herself. Well, she listens to him, and then she lays hands on him for coming to tell her. She said snitches get stitches. I'm like, but what was he really supposed to do? Was he supposed to not come and tell you? So this is where that whole bipolar situation thing with Madam is starting to kick in, and I'm not really here for Madam and her. Yeah, I'm not too fond of Babyface, but he was literally only doing what he knew he was supposed to do. Therefore, you laying your hands on him was just totally unnecessary, Madam. That's all I got to say about that, y'all. So, so moving right along. There's a moment, of course. Dime is just talking. Of course, Big D is on the stage. He's dancing, he's performing, and Blue asks Dime, was there anything going on, or did you and Big D ever spin the block on a relationship and get anything started? And of course, Dime proceeds to let her know it was over like that, like literally quick, within seconds, minutes, less than a minute. she just, and like, Dime, that's what you get for trying to hump and grind on the doggone stage. That's all I can say about that. I was disappointed that she even went that route. But, of course, Blue was telling her, girl, you just got to be careful, especially with Amp. Don't, tread lightly when it comes to Amp, because he's trying to get himself together. So moving right along, we see Lola, aka Shamika, at the police station, and basically she's scoping out the scene, trying to see what is going, what's the process for getting in and out of this evidence cage. And of course, she ends up running into Detective Davis. And Davis is like, oh, you're here pretty late. And she says, oh, yeah, I was just finishing up some work. And, the only way you can get promoted is by, basically working late hours, do what you got to do to get ahead. But I just feel like I feel for Shamika. She's kind of like a rock in the hard place, but she's about to do something that, I don't know how long she's gonna last, but she may end up losing her job. But I guess at the end of the day, if Madam is gonna take control of, or she's gonna be in high position, she may be, her job may be secure at some point. So moving right along, you guys, there's another moment where we see these two right here, Champ and Trouble. Now, they have just come back home from being held up basically at, well, he was at the safe house and she was at Club Eden down in the basement, using the pail to pee in and all that other stuff. And they're just having a conversation, and Champ is taking it lightly. He's just like, "Oh well, Madam is cool. She's just gonna let it slide. Everything is all good." Nah, Champ, you have no idea. Madam is about to be on your tail, bro. That's all I can say. And so Trouble, she's got her hands full right now. She has something that she's going to have to do. She's actually waiting for Madam to actually unalive Champ. She has no idea what her actual detail is. But then Madam pulls up on Tandy and, tells her, "Don't you ever ask any of my dancers to do something that I told you to do." And Tandy is like, "Oh, we're out in public. Let's not do this. We don't need cameras. We don't need to be seen like this together." And so, of course, Madam is going to speak her piece. She's going to say what she needs to say. And that's just what it is. So then we see this letter, and I wish that she would move her hand so I can see who what Blue is actually writing. But she does say something like, it's like, "Dear God, I love you so much. Thank you for this. Do you do something blank love? It's really like come true." Something I can't really understand. I can't really see the full letter that is being written, but I need Blue to go get some school education, because that grammar, I know I talk country ghetto, but that grammar is not grammaring. That's pretty much it. But then while she's writing that letter to God, then she gets a knock at the door, and it's one of her old military friends. And her military friend comes and let her know, her name is Williams, and she comes to let her know that, hey, one of our partners basically has unalived himself. They've seen a lot. They've seen a whole lot in the war. And so PTSD is real. And she gives Blue this urn that has their friend Thomas's ashes in them. And, she just sits there and kind of reflects on it. And Williams leaves her alone so that she could just, kind of let it all sink in. And they also agree that later on they're going to go basically hang out. I hate this for Blue. It kind of gave a small amount of emotion for her, but it showed that, everybody deals with something. And now we kind of are seeing why Blue is she's fearless the way that she is. So basically, I don't even want to talk about these two having lunch together. They went on a little picnic, but Amp receives a phone call from somebody. It's a blocked number. Now, I think DeMarcus was the one that said that that Amp's mother was the one that was calling Carla as well as Madam. And I'm thinking she is calling Amp as well. And that's really all I had about this particular moment, y'all. But I think Amp's mom is actually the one that is calling him too. I just wish someone would just answer the phone. So we see Fuego, my boy Fuego. Hey, Fuego. But we see Fuego, and he is at lunch. Well, he doesn't really eat anything, but he meets up with Madam. He lets her know, "Look, Madam, the family wants closure. Can you please give me the location of where Sandra's body is located, basically, so that the family can bury her, and then they can have the closure that they desire." And so she's saying to him, "So you want me to undo something that I did for you? But in actuality, Madam, you are the one that did this to this man. You did this to Fuego. So this is the least that you could actually do to try to help him. I'm just saying. That's just my rant, a little moment of rant. So we see Lola come. She pull up with her glasses. She got her hair straight. She good to go. And Madam, she sits down, has this conversation with Madam, and lets Madam know that um basically there's a routine that is followed for them to go in and out of that particular locker. And at around 12:30 at night, 12:25 or 12:35, there's like a shift change. And basically, this cage is left unattended. That's about the only amount of time that you have to to basically get out of get what you need out of this cage and move on out the way before anything else, comes about. So, Madam tells her, this is what I want you to get out of the locker. And then she says to Madam, well, you say you had a few things that you wanted to tell me. But Madam tells her she said something about getting rid of the wig. She also says, basically, get the F out of my face. So Madam is just like so rude, so rude. But that's Madam. Make sure you guys are checking us out on Sunday, where Virtual Club Eating is always a vibe. We will definitely be coming back to give you guys this recap as well. It's a live recap. We may not go over every single scene on Sunday, but make sure you guys come through and check us out. It's myself, EJ the TV Junkie. Candy Love I'm pretty sure will be in the building, as well as Tamika's Den, if all goes as planned, y'all. So we see Williams as well as Blue, and they are taking a jog, and this dude runs into Williams, and Blue is like, girl, let's go get him. Back in the day, you would have did some things to him. And she's like, well, I've changed. I've learned how to basically control myself, and he probably didn't even do it on purpose. It was probably a mistake. But Blue, on the other hand, she decides at the end of this whole situation to go run after dude. So dude might be laying in the woods somewhere, leg broke or something, jacked up a little bit. So let's see, moving right along. In the way, yay. My boy Rashawn is back, y'all. He's back, and he's introducing everybody to Q. Like I told y'all, Q is actually a YouTuber or TikToker that has made his way into the entertainment, the acting world, and salute to him. I'm gonna include his TikTok channel in the description a little bit after I'm done here, y'all. So he's introducing him to Trouble as well as Champ. And of course, Trouble is, who are you? Just straight up rude, like she's running something. Well, Trouble don't know she's in trouble if she doesn't do what Madam asked her to do. So she goes to talk to Madam. And of course, before she goes to talk to Madam, Champ is like, well, what do you think? What do you think is going on? Oh, it's probably nothing. Trouble is just trying to play it all off because she know that one of them got to go. It's either her or him. And she was like, dang, I really didn't feel like being unalive today, in other words. So she's going to make her way to go and talk to Madam. But prior to her talking to Madam, we're going to see Fuego, and this is where Fuego is going to be instructed by Madam to give. She has a route that she wants him to look up, and then that not only in that route that she wants him to look up, she has something else that she wants to do, and that's in regards to the whole something to do with what Lola is going to have to do. So then, when Trouble is in the office with Madam, she's talking to Madam, and Madam is saying, you didn't do what I told you, basically do. And so Trouble is saying, well, I thought you were supposed to do it. And Madam is like, no. So you better figure out, it's either him or you. So Madam has basically tasked Trouble with unaliving Champ, y'all. This is gonna be crazy because she was kind of cool with Champ. She was really cool with Champ. So moving right along, we see where the judge has finally signed the warrant for Detective Davis. That's basically what the conversation was all about between the two of them. He finally signed it, but he let her know, listen, I hope you got enough to stick to Madam, because she pretty much gets away with just about everything that she does. So that was basically the conversation between the judge as well as Detective Davis. So moving right along, you guys, this moment was crazy. The doctor has refused to give Madam her medicine, saying that the police are on his back, they're on his neck, and if he gives her medicine, he could be arrested. And Madam is basically, I don't give a F about none of that. Run me my medicine. And so, of course, he's threatened and afraid of Madam. So he's gonna do what Madam says. And so, of course, Tommy jacks the man up and escorts him out of the room. But Madam now knows that they're trying to mess with her and her medicine. So now the time has come. The time has come where Fuego has to do his thing and Lola has to do her thing simultaneously. So basically, Fuego's job was to turn off the lights, the power, so that Lola could get into this particular cage, this evidence cage, and get the t-shirt out. And the plan basically goes as it's supposed to go. There's a small moment where the lights come back on before Lola can get out of the cage, but thankfully Fuego is there paying attention so that he can shift the lights, turn the lights back off so that Lola will be able to get out of the cage, y'all. So then we see Big Smoke. Smoke is on the scene, and now we're about to see what Smoke is capable of. He rolls up on this guy and tells him, "Give me the keys to the truck." And the guy's looking at him like, "I'm not giving you no keys." So one of the other guys roll up, and then Big Smoke does his 1-2, pop, pop. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that slide, y'all, but Big Smoke gonna do his thing. He analyzed two of these drivers. Then we see Rayshawn, and he's telling Q, listen, I've been here for a while. There's pretty much all of the dancers are pretty cool except one, and he goes by the name of Babyface, because there's some strange things that go on here. So you don't want to be mixed up with this particular dancer. And so Q basically repeats the name Babyface, and then he says, okay, I got you. So I'm hoping Q will listen, because Babyface is nothing but the devil. So I'm hoping that Q will actually listen, y'all. I was glad to see Rayshawn back on the scene. He looked so sad, though. He looked so sad this moment, because we as an audience, we kind of remember everything that Rayshawn has actually been through. And so to see him have his head down the way that it was, that kind of saddened me a little bit. But, it's a part of the show. I don't know how much more Rayshawn is going to get into. We know he was responsible for beating the brakes off of Jack, Tandy's husband. So we'll see if he has to, if that moment will come back up in his face. But I think I think he may be safe, because Madam basically has a handle on Tandy, so she won't be making any allegations against Rayshawn. Then y'all, Concierge pulls up on his truck. So we find out that this truck, that whole route that Fuego pulled up, this fleet of trucks belong to the Concierge. And Concierge is like, all right, Madam, all right, I see. He knows it was Madam. Because he basically had no other real enemies. He knows it was Madam. So it's gonna be Concierge versus Madam at this point. And she really should not want to get into it with him, because he has a lot of cards that he can play against her. He has so much footage. But this is the damage right here, y'all. This is the damage that Smoke left. So we see Smoke is a complete psychopath. He left two hanging heads. That's all I can say. And those drivers basically belong to Concierge. Those were his crew. So then we see where Madam gives Doc the t-shirt. She says she doesn't want to hear anything else about this t-shirt, so on and so forth. Y'all listen, I don't want to hear anything else about this t-shirt. I need Doc to take this t-shirt down to the incendiary and burn it, because at this point, that was really the only thing that they had allegedly against Madam, which in actuality, there's not a lot they could really do with that, because he, they got it illegally. There was no search warrant. There was, we've had this conversation on Virtual Club Eden, but yeah, so hopefully he will do the smart thing, take this t-shirt and burn it, burn it, burn it. Okay. So moving right along, we're going to see Tommy. Tommy's going to come in and let Madam know, hey, the Popo are all outside. They outside, Madam. I need you to come on, see what's going on. So Madam is going to make her way out there to the stage where, of course, Detective Davis is patiently waiting on Madam. And look at her, y'all. She big proud. She is excited that she has definitely done her big one with taking Madam down. She thinks this is it. She thinks this is all she needs to take Madam down. And Madam, is like, well, what the F is going on? She, basically, you're under arrest for the connection of the unalignment of Tina Finch and so on and so forth. And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go again. But Madam is calm, cool, and collected because she knows that they have the evidence that they thought that she has the evidence, or either Doc has the evidence that Detective Davis thought that she had. So that evidence is like no good anymore. So finally, we see these two, y'all, and this is about to be a crazy moment. We see these two playing cards and, just straight chilling. But trouble is her mind is not on what it is she's supposed to be doing. Her mind is just like thrown off because in actuality, she got to take this dude out. It's either her or him, as Madam said. So she says, well, I'm going to go get up and go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. She tells him she'll be right back. So she gets up and then she says, and don't you look at my cards. And of course, like a little kid, he cheats and looks at her cards. But she comes out with this plastic bag, y'all. Why the plastic bag got a face on it? I don't know. But she comes out with this plastic bag and she wraps it around Champ's face. And then she applies the pressure needed to apply to take this man out. And that was the end of the episode, y'all.